Om. May my limbs, speech, life breath, eyes, ears, strength, and all the senses become perfected. Everything is the Brahman proclaimed in the Upanishads. May I never deny Brahman. May Brahman never reject me. May there be no denial at all. May there be no denial, at least from me. May I, who am devoted to the Atman, be endowed with the virtues taught in the Upanishads. Om, peace, peace, peace. Before we can go in, somebody is saying there's no sound. Okay. Okay. The chant in Sanskrit is Om Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranas chakshu shrotamato balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam brahmopanishadam Mama brahma nirakaro Anirakaranamastva nirakaranam mestu Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaste Mai santu te mai santu. Today's topic for discussion is Satyakama's journey for knowledge. Satyakama means Satya is truth, Kama is one who desires truth. So it's a aspirant. And we all, in a way, are seekers of truth. But depends, our desire is not strong enough. So this tepid desire is very easily overwhelmed with the untruth that we are subject to. This story occurs in one of the oldest Upanishads called the Chandogya Upanishad. The advantage in studying these old Upanishads is we can see a transition from the old ritualistic, you can say, period to the meditation period and then through the knowledge period. So technically it's called the mantra and the Brahmana and the Upanishads. The story goes to highlight also that faith and austerities are essential limbs for meditation. Because that is how meditation gets its power. So when you sit down and try to meditate, if you don't feel powerful, there's something, those limbs are missing. I mean, limbs of meditation. The story is put in a way that highlights a couple of things. It explains the individual. It explains the world. And when we try to explain things like from any standpoint, we try to first disturb, destroy, and criticize, or it's all vain, life is vain, the world is the vanity of all vanities. That's not the way the Upanishads approach this. So the Satyakama, now he's a young boy. He tells his mother, and the story goes, he's saying, once upon a time, Satyakama Jabala asked his mother, her name was Jabala. We'll come to how he got this name Jabala. Jabala means the son of Jabala, mother. And he says, Honorable mother, I wish to live in a teacher's house as a brahmacharin, as a celibate. Of what lineage I am. This was very important because they wanted to know where you are. Today, nobody bothers about what. But in those days, what your lineage was, it will tell you what you are. And then the mother says, Oh my son, I do not know this, the lineage to which you belong. I got you in my youth when I was busy performing many duties and remained engaged in service. Being as I was, I do not know this as to which lineage you belong. But my name is Jabala and your name is Satyakama. So you speak of yourself as Satyakama Jabala. There it is. Now, what is even worse, not knowing your lineage, but the mother did not know who the father was. I mean, she wasn't married. And in those days, it was even more damaging. Not damaging in the sense of what we think of it. Society was just beginning to kind of crystallize with its institutions. Marriage being one institution which was formalized. So, this boy, he goes, now he has to go and study with the guru, the teacher, and one has to leave one's hermitage. This was generally done when one is very young, say 8 or 9, and you go to the hermitage where those teachers, the rishis, used to live. So he goes to Hari Dhrumata Gautama, that was the sage. And he told him, I shall live here as a brahmachari, as a celibate. O worshipful one, therefore I have come to you. So the teacher asked him, to what lineage do you, O good-looking one, belong? He said, Sir, I do not know this to which lineage I belong. I asked my mother, she told me, I got you in my youth. He repeated exactly verbatim what his mother had told him. And then he said, as such, I am Satyakama Jabala. The guru was shocked. Hey, what? But being a sage, he says, only a seeker of truth will be able to say what you just said. The exact words are a Brahmana. So, a non-Brahmin will never say this, what you said. So, you are a seeker of truth. Fetch firewood and I shall initiate you. The idea was, that was one of the, you can say, methods of going to the Guru. You don't go empty-handed. So what do you have? You go to serve, and how do you serve? How do you indicate it? You take firewood, which is meant to be used as a sacrifice during the sacrifice, these Vedic sacrifice, fire sacrifices. That tells you that yes. Because in another Upanishad, Samitpani, so you must go with firewood in your hand to the Guru. There was one devotee in San Francisco when 100 years ago, she goes to Swami Satyamayananda with firewood in her hand. And he looks at, what's this? But this is supposed to be the formalism of approaching the teacher, and he was so delighted. He had forgotten. He was so delighted. So he tells him, get the firewood. I shall initiate you since you did not depart from truth. Here it is. After initiating him, and in those days, initiation was most probably a kind of an archaic form of what we have today as a Gayatri initiation. Gayatri mantra. But the whole ritual connected with it, not just a mantra. This boy, now he is with other students. We don't know. The Upanishad does not tell us anything why the Guru, to protect the boy from, from bullying or, criticism, whatever. So he separated 400 lean and weak cows from his pen and saying, go, you follow them. And you will stay and look after them. And then, and you see, that is one of the hallmarks of a student, obedience, humility. There is no questioning the Guru of such a stature. So he leads the cows, and then he says, I shall not return till they are 1,000. And he takes them, leads them to the forest, and he stays there for many years. Looks after them, feeds them, this, that. So this was the beginning. We do not know how long he stayed in the hermitage, or how long was he there. But Upanishads say he lived in exile for years. And when they became 1,000, he wasn't counting specifically. But one day he was sitting and meditating in front of the fire. Then a bull in the center of the herd, he says, oh, Satyakama. So Satyakama, yes, revered sir. Oh, good-looking one, we have reached a number 1,000. Lead us now to the house of the teacher. And then he says, I will tell you one part of Brahman. Satyakama said, yes, please tell me, revered sir. So this, now the bull, now the commentator says, the idea also is, when we look out at the world, we have learned to separate things for us to understand. I separate this from this and this and this. So our knowledge is always, we can say, divided, subdivided. And then we try to link things up. the Upanishads, they want to integrate the whole thing. So when we see the world outside, the entire world now, they're saying, okay, we're going to teach you this great unification, but we will teach you through the various parts of this unification for us to easily comprehend. And so, this entire world, inner and outer, are divided into 16 parts. Okay? And 4 into 4, 16. So he's going to say, the bull is going to say, I'm going to tell you one part. So Satyakama said, please, sir, tell me. Now the bull, what is the bull saying? So the commentator says that it was the god of the wind god who spoke through to show like the wind flows in all directions. So now in Vedanta, it is a settled doctrine that whatever gods, etc., are outside, their counterparts are also inside. If there's a god outside, there's a god inside. And there are gods looking after various inner functions. Because as I said, they don't want to separate the inner and the outer. They want to unify it. And they unified it through what? Nature is outside as well as inside. Those functions of nature which are run by consciousness are also outside and inside. And they used to personalize those forms of that form of consciousness into various, the god of wind and the god of fire, etc., etc. They're just personalization for us for meditation and comprehension. Because many of us cannot understand the abstract nature of consciousness. So the bull says, that is the god of the wind. The east is a part of the Lord. The west is a part of the Lord. The southern side is one part. The northern side is one part. The 4 cardinal points are the 4 points of Brahman. This is verily one part of Brahman, which is called the manifested. So we hear it. Now when the same thing was heard by Satyakama, he understood it as it was spoken. It came as a spontaneous realization. This comes, Vedanta says, to one who has been purified through service, through meditation, through austerities and faith. So it flashed, the one part of Brahman called the manifested, which is there in all directions. And then another, you can say, speciality of the Upanishads is, when they tell you this is the meditation, they will tell you the results also of it. And it says, one who, having known in this way, this one part of Brahman, known as the manifested, becomes renowned in this world. He who, having known this way, consisting of 4 parts, meditates on it as the manifested, wins the manifested worlds. This is what, it's not simply, oh, just these are words and then words. Yeah, there was a kind of a realization. But what's a realization? This will tell you that if you understand this, that all the 4 directions, it's the Lord himself is there. In its manifested form, you will win that manifested worlds. And so Satyakama got that. Then the bull says, fire will tell you one more, the second part. So the next day dawned and he drove the cattle the entire day. Then after he fed them, watered them, retired for the night. The cattle retired for the night. And he, sitting down in front of this fire, meditating, facing east, he says, fire, accosted him. Fire, the fire which was lit in front of him. Oh, Satyakama, he's saying, yes, revered sir. I wish to tell you one part of Brahman. Saying, please, sir, do tell me. Earth is a part. The intermediate space is one part. Heaven is one part. Ocean is one part. Oh, good-looking one of Brahman, this is surely one part called the limitless. So, see, from the external, slowly they are coming closer and closer, because they have to tie the external world with the internal. The subtle, the directions, okay, there are the direction, the abstract. Yes, we know them, it's like this. But now he has made them, fleshed them out, like tangible. The earth, the oceans, the skies, and whatever is there between the skies and the earth. This is called limitless. And the fire says, he who knows this one part of Brahman and meditates on it becomes limitless in this world. He who, having known this 1 foot of Brahman consisting of 4 parts, wins the limitless worlds. Now here it is, the result of that meditation. So he is meditating on those very truths that he is hearing it from the gods. And we know first the wind god, then the god of fire, that spoke through him. Then the god of fire says, okay, a swan will come and tell you the 3rd part of Brahman. Yes, revered sir. He's very humble, you know. So the next day dawned, and then again he drove the cattle, driving the cattle towards the Guru's house. And as he was going into nightfall, he put them in a pen, sat down, meditated. People nowadays say, oh, we are also busy. They were, I think, more busier. Look, imagine looking after 1,000 cows. Go crazy. So he fed them, watered and everything, and then he sat down and was meditating. And then the swan comes, saying, so the swan came, say, I will tell you 1 foot of Brahman. That is one part of Brahman. So please, sir, revered sir, please tell me. Then he says, fire is one part, the sun is one part, the moon is one part, lightning, etc. is one part. So all the luminous objects in the world are part. So you can see how it is making things understandable. You know, they were used to seeing all these things, to know all these things. Fire, earth, this, that, all these things. So Swamiji says, here it is Vedanta is trying to explain Brahman through the very things that was known to these people. Vedanta was making itself practical. We will say, oh, the world, it's an illusion. They never said that. And that's what is surprising. That came much later with the rise of Buddhism, and then they were countering them. We brought out the doctrine of Maya, etc. But this is what the old knowers of Brahman understood Brahman as. So as I said, they never destroyed the individuality, but explained it. They never destroyed the world, but explained it. And they were all through trying to make this Vedanta practical. How to realize it here? And so the swan, what's a swan? It's a hamsa. It's another name for a luminous object. In other words, the sun god, the god of sun or whatever, who presides over all luminous objects. So now it's getting more closer and closer towards that Satyakama. Okay, I know this. I know Hamsa. I know the sun, lightning, fire, all these things. I know. So he has to see Brahman in all these things. And then he says, the name of this third part of Brahman is called effulgent. And then he says, if you know this part of Brahman, you meditate on it, one becomes effulgent in this world. He who knows this, meditates, wins effulgent worlds. So here, so this person is giving him the teachings and also telling that to say, this is what you meditate on and this is what you will attain. So this here, then the swan said, another a bird called madgu, that is it's variously translated that the diver bird. I don't know, maybe it must be a kingfisher or something like that. The bird madgu will tell you the fourth part of Brahman. And then again the next day dawned, it did the same thing, sat down in the evening, late in the evening in front of the fire, meditating. Then the bird arrives. And then he says, "Oh Satyakama," he says, "Yes, revered sir. I wish to tell you one foot of Brahman, one part of Brahman. Please tell me, revered sir." The vital force is one part. That is the vital force in our bodies and minds. The eye is one part, the vision. The ear is one part, the auditory systems. The mind is one part. That is, all the senses and all the functions which are done through the vital forces, and the mind is Brahman. So see, from the outside he's coming slowly inside, tying both this inside and outside. And then he says, this one part of Brahman is called the abode, or possessed of the abode. And then he says, he who knows this one part of Brahman, consisting of these four parts, meditates upon it, is possessed of an abode. That person is established in one's own being, that is one's own Brahman. Then he says, he becomes possessed of an abode in this world and wins the worlds that are spacious. Now when you say knowledge of Brahman, people somehow they have the idea the knowledge of Brahman is something here, yes, here, and then everything else is non-Brahman. That does not happen. When you have the knowledge of Brahman here, you'll say everything as Brahman. But what about this great idea of this illusory nature of the world? The world as world is illusory, but the reality is that Brahman. So we get these ideas that the four parts, which are subdivided into 16 parts, they tie up the entire phenomenal world. and relate it to this person, the seeker of truth. So whether the boy's name was really Satyakama, well, we can take it, because in the next section, which we will take it later, sometime later, he is shown having the same as Satyakama Javala. So first it was manifested, limitless, and then effulgent, and then you can see the abode, the place. Brahman, these are the secret names of Brahman. The Upanishads do not tell you the specific meditations to realize it. That has to be learned with the Guru. But the very idea of a nature, being of the nature of truth, made those teachings spontaneously be realized in that person's heart. See, when Sri Ramakrishna was meditating, he wanted to see the Divine Mother as Kali. He did not know any formal yoga or anything. But he did realize that how, just by the intensity of his desire to see the Divine Mother, just the intensity, that led him. So the intensity for the desire to know the truth will give you this. You don't need to go through arduous practices of meditation, etc. And so these worlds and everything in it is established. This is the practical side of Vedanta. What you know, you use them to further your knowledge. And now these teachings have been given to this boy. After some time, after some days, he returns to his teacher's house, Haridrumata Gautama. The teacher looks at him. "Oh, Satyakama." He's saying, "Yes, revered sir." Saying, "You shine verily like an ore of Brahman. Who may it be that instructed you?" "I'm supposed to be your teacher. Who has instructed you? Because you look like an ore of Brahman." Then he confirmed, saying, "Some other ones other than human beings. But I wish you, revered sir, should instruct me for fulfilling my wish." Because he had come first to the teacher to learn the knowledge of Brahman. And then the commentator, he understands that beings other than men, that is God's head, come to him. See, when you search for truth, it's always said, the God of truth itself comes and protects you, gives you everything you want. This is the idea, that the truth that the boy was searching itself revealed itself to him through these various, you can say, bull and God and this and that. But it was the truth that was giving him the spontaneous realizations. So there's a long commentary on this. So the Guru, definitely he was a knower of Brahman, and looks at the boy, say, "You shine like the very, in the Sanskrit it is said, Brahma vidiva vai somya bhasi." You shine like a knower of Brahman. So the commentators say, what are the signs for knowers of Brahman? Anyway, that's for another topic. Swamiji, when he in one of his lectures named Practical Vedanta, the second, he says that he uses the same story it's in the Jnana Yoga section of his talks. So he says, he who shines to the eyes is Brahman. So, saying then, Swamiji, he clarifies, he's saying, what is this shines to the eyes? It's that same light of the soul which is shining in the stars and moons and fire and everything. That same consciousness which is everywhere is manifesting to that boy, and it is shining through. So this is one of the signs. I don't want to go send you off, you can say, unfulfilled. At least no disappointment. So it is the light of consciousness that lights up everything, and that is a special vision that knows of Brahman can detect in another knower of Brahman. So here he is, the guru and the disciple. You see the humility of the boy. He's saying, then he says, it has certainly been heard by me from venerable ones like you that knowledge acquired from the teacher alone surely becomes the best. So, Acharya Deva Vidya Vidita. So, your knowledge has to come through a succession of teachers and disciples. There's a long tradition. And this long tradition, I don't know how old it is, how ancient it is. But it is still there. It's called a Brahma Vidya Sampradaya. The knowledge, the lineage of the teachers, of the knowers of Brahman. So this boy, he understands that this has to be authenticated by my lineage, my tradition, my gurus. And so the guru also plays. You see, when Sri Ramakrishna, people say, why did he already had the knowledge of Brahman, etc. Why did he go out and then again go to learn from teachers? So many teachers came to him and he learned from them. From the Vedanta teacher, from the Vaishnava teacher, from the Sakta, all the traditional teachers who held the knowledge of those traditions, they came and he learned from him to authenticate those traditions. You see, to revive them. This is the work of a great teacher. That teacher will revive all the branches of spiritual traditions. And then the teacher, Gautama, and he says, the Upanishad says, to him he imparted this very knowledge, and as to this nothing remained left out, nothing remained left out. That concludes this chapter, this repeat. So he taught him that very knowledge of the 4 parts of Brahman, each part consisting of 4 additional, 16 parts. As the manifested, as the effulgent, as the limitless, and the abode. So what happens is, this person, now Satyakama, he sees that truth which he was seeking for everywhere. In all natural phenomena, of course, in things that are seen and things that are here, in the body, in the mind and senses, he sees that same truth. He sees the same truth in the external world. And he has become limitless. We don't know how old this story, maybe 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, we do not know. But from the Sanskrit used, it is very old, because it was only after this that the Sanskrit was systematized by as they say, Panini. So these teachings are very old. This Chandogya Upanishad comes in the Sama Veda side, another ancient, you can say, sides of the Vedas. So this was Satyakama's journey, and we all in a way embody that Satyakama. We are all in a way searching. But then we are so distracted with the thousands of things that we had. Satyakama had 1,000 cows to look after. Doesn't matter. We have 1,000 things to do. Yet those 1,000 things were done as an act of service to the teacher. Those cows belong to the teacher, and those things have to be served. When we serve everything in this world as reminders that this belongs to God, it's not my world, my body, my mind, my this, my that. Yeah, then what happens? You know what happens. Everybody knows. But my life, this world, my mind and everything belongs to that Brahman, and I serve that Brahman. Then comes this knowledge. We are trying to appropriate things, as I said, which do not really belong to us. If it really belonged to us, we would have understood it. We don't understand. Take, for instance, life. How many of us, we really understand life? We don't. And still we say it's my life. How many of us really understand mind? They say, my mind? How can it be your mind? So if it was that, then you would have understood. The moment you put in that consciousness as divine consciousness, then it becomes revealed to you. Then the whole 4 parts of Brahman becomes revealed. So when you say the east is the part of the Lord, so the west and north and south, the 4 cardinal points are 4 points of Brahman. You will understand it immediately. Oh yes, this is what it is. Now those directions are not just mere words, nothing abstract. They become tangible. You will see that Brahman manifested here, and that's how the first part is called manifested. This is how the knowledge of Brahman has become practical. All the kind of esoteric things in religion came thousands and thousands of years much later. When you want to hide truth, you want to make it esoteric. That's a difference. Only we know. You won't tell you. These guys, they were telling you. Go. This is what it is. And if you can understand this, that this knowledge is meant for all. And the qualifications, no qualifications. The only thing you got to desire the truth. Whether you're a son, as I say, of Jabal or his mother like that. In those days, it was unthinkable. So, yeah, she never knew who the boy's father was. There's no problem. And the teacher recognized that, saying, you have stuck to truth, I will teach you. And today, after thousands of years, we can see how he validated this boy, and the boy validated this knowledge that is there. That same knowledge is, as I say, traditionally given, but in a clear, concise way, without the cloudy, mystical language. It's the same. This is what happens when you see, you realize yourself and the world as Brahman. This is the culmination of life. This is the evolution. The spiritual evolution takes you here. And human life, as Shri Ramakrishna says, What's the goal of human life? The goal of human life is to see God. I remember saying, asking, what's the goal of life? Sri Ramakrishna is to see God. Oh my God. Nobody told us this. Thank God he told us now. This is how we need to grow. That truth, that, why we all are, in a way, a miniature version or thumbnail version of Satyakama, because that truth is within us and it is being smothered. It has to shine. And the more space you give it, the more elbow room you give that truth, the more it will grow and grow and grow. And as it grows, that truth will coincide with the larger truth. Then the illusion of all these, whatever is not Brahman, will drop. And you will see Brahman as it is. Om, peace, peace, peace. We'll take a few questions here. Why Shankaracharya and Madhvacharya in their commentaries for this particular passage try to project Mother Jabala as a widow? Are they castists and anti-truth? See, the Upanishads do not say that she is a widow. So why do you want to put your own interpretations there? Or you, the people there. And anti-truth, she stated a fact that when she was young, she had him, and during that time she was serving in different places and she did not know the father. In those days, the idea of, you can say, the crystallization of these divisions in the society had not taken place. Much later it came in. So it was much more freer. So any person who wanted to become a knower of Brahman could reach out and become one. So it was not meant for only a certain class of people. Oh, you got to be this. The only condition was to be a seeker of truth. Okay, that's the only relevant question here. Oh, thank you, Kumara, they say. So we can take these in-person questions down in the dining hall. We have this Sunday, we have in the evening, we have Mother's Ram Nam, sorry. And we also, next Sunday, we'll have the 3 phases of Vedanta philosophy. So, the 3 phases of Vedanta philosophy. On Friday, we have 3 parts of the mantra. In our series on mantra yoga. Thursday, we have Towards the Goal Supreme by Swami Brahmatmananda at Tapovan at 7 p.m. Wednesday, we have the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna by Swami Avikarananda, 7 p.m. here in person. And all these are live streamed. And so those who have not yet read through our Global Vedanta Online Issue 7, please go to our website. On Saturday, November 9th, there will be a retreat. Last month we couldn't have it because there was the Durga Puja. We're going to have it this November 9th, Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. Okay. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.